Welcome back. Now turning to water services, we're joined by Ndama-nomhata, Head of Public Relations and Corporate Communications at NamWater, to talk about NamWater's new customer and stakeholder satisfaction survey. The survey aims to gather essential feedback to enhance customer experience and meet community needs effectively. Lot, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Daily Roundup.
Good evening, Nina. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Lot, could you share with us firstly the purpose behind launching the customer service and stakeholder satisfaction survey?
Thank you very much. Nina, as you know, that NamWater is a water utility entity. It's about supplier. It serves a different kind of clients, be it regional and local authorities. We're talking about municipalities. We're also talking about mines and industries, the irrigation, water farmers, retail customers, and others that might also want to benefit from the supply of water. So the core function of us trying to really attend to having this customer and stakeholder satisfaction survey is really to focus on issues such as reliability in terms of water supply, the issue of affordability of our water that we supply, the sustainability of those sources that we use to supply that water, and overall just see the customer satisfaction, and also just a broader range to get the insights of the customers to see how we are rendering the services we are rendering to them. Are they happy? Are there some recommendations and tangible solutions to see where we can be able to improve? So it's centered around those core functions.
Expand a bit for us, Lot, on the key areas that the customer service that you will be assessing in this survey.
Okay. Now, in addition to the core areas, and partly maybe I'll answer that it's the second part of the question, it's just to also what is important is to gain valuable insight into the experiences and the expectations of our customers and our stakeholders. So these areas such as reliability, water quality, affordability, sustainability efforts, and overall satisfaction, by doing this, we are hoping that we can identify the strength areas and also identify areas that require improvement, and also ensuring that we continue to deliver high quality water that is affordable and reliable water services for all Namibians. And the feedback, to a large extent, I think that we'll get from this will also guide our strategic planning and serve as an optimization to better meet the needs of our diverse client base. So, and then at the same time, again, what necessitated for us to be able to come up with this survey is in terms of our integrated strategic business plan. We want to optimize in a sense that we want to achieve a higher customer satisfaction rate than currently where we are right now, trying to establish a base that really is of how our clients feel. So the fact this survey was prompted by the integrated strategic business plan because of our commitment to that is continuously trying to improve and to adapt to the services in response to the changing customer needs that we have. You can agree with us, for instance, that you see recently when we're doing the groundbreaking, for instance, in Ndama-nomhata pipeline that is costing around about 91 million. This pipeline is almost close to around about 42 years old. So you can just imagine, and that the inhabitants, for instance, of Ndangwa, Oshana region and partly part of Oshkodo region have increased as a result of the population also expanding. So that means, is our services, for instance, reliable? Are we dependable? Are we able to meet the growing needs of these customers, for instance? Because also the infrastructure is getting old, the people are also becoming more, hence the pressure that is applied on this infrastructure is also becoming a lot. It's because the customer expectations are also growing, because we do not necessarily want businesses to be disrupted when they are establishing new businesses. For instance, we don't want local authorities not to be without water, for instance. But we also know that issues like climate change and the issue of urban expansion that we have seen also with the latest Namibia Statistics Agency in terms of census is that we have increased. So we're definitely trying to see if we can come up with more efficient water management systems of delivering water to our clients. It's needed more than ever as the population is growing, and collecting this comprehensive feedback from the customers will really ensure that we remain positive, we remain responsive and proactive in addressing the existing and also the emerging challenges that we face. And I think what's also again important is that when we are sourcing these inputs from our various clientele, is to say that we are not shying away from the criticism that we receive. We are also looking forward to the criticism as of where we are not doing too well and where we need to improve. So we also asking that our customers and our stakeholders really evaluate us fairly and indicate really the circumstances and the challenges that they face with regards to the services that are provided for NamWater, so that we can also adjust and also review our processes and see what is not working and see possibly where we can be able to improve.
In order to capture a comprehensive range of perspectives, how will you ensure that the survey reaches customers in more remote regions?
What we have done is that we have started roundabout in July, and we had envisioned to say that we'll probably do it until October. And then we realized until September, pardon me, in Q2. But we realized, we saw that perhaps possibly we might not be able to reach everyone. So we decided to obviously to extend this. And by virtue of saying, how are we going to ensure that we attend to everybody? We have shared links in terms of where this quick minute survey that not 5 minutes most, that one can be able to use, especially for those that have access to social media platforms. But however, those that don't have access to social media platforms, what we've also done is that we have asked our business offices countrywide. We have 5 units, businesses, for instance, that Business Northwest, for instance, which caters for partially of Kunene or Angwena or Koto, Oshana and Omsati. For instance, we have also sent the survey in hard copy, so that those colleagues who are working on the ground can also be able to give it to our clientele that they are engaging with on a daily basis, especially our staff members who are in terms of billing, or that are also in terms of debt collection, so they can be able to engage stakeholders, give them physical copies. Once they filled it in, then they can still be able to send it to us for processing, so that we can be able to really get a sense of how the people are feeling. So the idea is to try to ensure that we are inclusive as much as possible. So for those that, for instance, watch your program, Nina, and we know that it is a huge following, we'll have an opportunity, for instance, to use the link and respond immediately. Those that are in rural areas, maybe like Kachina Kachi, might be able only to acquire a hard copy to fill in, and then so that they can be able to send it back to Windhoek, and then we can be able to congregate that data.
I also want to know, Lot, how the survey will evaluate NamWater's communication with customers on important topics such as, water outages and tariff changes.
No, I think that is it's a very fair question, Nina. I think one of the strategies that we are trying to develop and to become much closer to our clientele is we are in the process of finalizing the concept of developing that's a social media platforms for NamWater, so that we ensure that we can also be able to reach a wider audience. That is something that most of our clients and stakeholders have also indicated, that there is a need for NamWater to have social media presence, and we are committed to ensuring that we'll do our best in our ability that possibly before the next financial year starts, we have activated this. So communication is very, very important to us. Some of the feedbacks that we have received, even on existing engagements, because each time that we have a project that we are about to launch, we always ensure that we do stakeholder mapping to identify the stakeholders and see what their priorities are, how they influence a specific project. And one of the elements that they've really raised is the issue of communication, for us to be able to do better. That's prompt action, not necessarily always just communicating when a crisis has happened, but even before a crisis takes place, we must be able to communicate. As of recent, for instance, an example we gave is that we have planned repair work that is being done in Walfish Bay. And what we have done is that we have communicated in advance to our customers and stakeholders that we will be carrying out some work, so that they can expect some interruptions. So you are very correct to say that we definitely need to improve our communication strategies, and we call upon the public to also ensure that we do much better at that. But also, we might not be able to cover everything. So what would very much help is that we constantly keep engaging and finding ways to be able to communicate. So we also see an opportunity, for instance, through radio, which is one of the largest streams of reaching majority of the Ambien population. So there are diverse opportunities that we can be able to use to communicate. But however, we welcome such suggestions, and the question that you asked, which is really, really important, what are we going to do to improve the means of communicating? So we're looking at different options that we can receive from our consumers, our customers, and stakeholders, so that the ideal situation is to be able to communicate to them before anything happens, not necessarily waiting for a crisis to take place and then respond, unless otherwise circumstances are different and we are not aware.
Once the survey is, completed, Lot, what steps will be taken to guarantee transparency in, sharing, firstly, the survey results, and of course, secondly, also acting on, shareholders' feedback?
No, again, thank you very much. I should also indicate that I think the shareholder being represented through the Minister of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform, Kalesh Ladvain, has time and again also indicated that, for instance, that it is not fair for people who pay their water bills, for instance, to be affected when there are disconnections that were happening in the past. So what we have committed to doing, for instance, and being transparent in terms of communicating, is to ensure that once we have done with the survey, we will communicate to the public to say this is what we have found and this is what we are going to try to address. So I cannot indicate what we will do, because obviously, firstly, we must wait for the outcome. Once we have received that outcome, and then we will then design strategies to see how we can be able to address. But one thing I can already tell you, which is important, and it's coming from the customers and stakeholders, is the issue of trying to ensure that we establish social media platforms for NamWater so that they can easily be able to communicate. I mean, nowadays, everybody has a phone, for instance. People, be it an Android or be it Apple products, people, for instance, can be able to follow your program on the NBC Plus app, and we would like to make use of those opportunities as such, for instance, to take advantage and to be able to communicate. So we are committed to ensuring that we will share the outcome of this survey and really provide feedback to see the suggestions that have been made, and also, again, just thank the stakeholders for participating in the process.
So for those that are digitally advantaged, Lot, you mentioned earlier there's a link that they can access to partake in the survey. Where would they find that?
We have shared the link through various social media platforms, the different WhatsApp groups. We've also shared it with the different media stakeholders. We'll also be ensuring that it's logged on our website so they can be able to access it easily for them to participate. So it becomes easier, 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes, and they should be able to done really trying to see how they can be able to contribute and really better as of to how NamWater can be able to deliver this very, very important service, and that is water. And water serves as a catalyst for development. I think what is also again worth sharing is that the Minister of Agriculture also indicated that approximately 87% of the population right now has access to potable drinking water. And the ideal standard is to say that no one should be able to access water in more than 2.5 kilometers. So we want to ensure that we reach that milestone to ensure that Namibia has 100% coverage. So please, we urge the inhabitants of the country and our stakeholders and our customers to really come on board. And where perhaps they might be struggling to getting the link, we also definitely don't have a problem. They can be able to simply email us at cco@namwater.com.na. That is cco@namwater.com.na if there are any problems with the link that we share, so that we can be able to send it to them, so that they can be able to give us that very much important review that we are so much looking forward to seeing how we can improve our processes.
Lot and Ndama-nomhata, thank you so much for your time this evening, and thank you for joining us here on the Daily Roundup.
Nina, thank you very much, and thank you very much for making time to speak to us. We appreciate it.
When we come back after this brief break, our conversations continue here on the Daily Roundup. Please stay with us.